And it's officially day 4 of the 30-day scripting challenge. It's been 3 days with the previous 3 challenges. Now, this is day 4, and it's going to be a little bit harder. Now, sometimes I wouldn't say each day it gets harder. I would say it just becomes more interesting. It explores more important concepts. So this is going to be for day 4. It's going to be a clicking to collect system. So in our leader stats video, we made a value called gems that the player has. And now what we can do is we can allow the player to pick up gems. In this case, I have a model of a gem here, just a free model I found. And we can allow the player to pick up gems and then add it to their player value. So what I did is I put a click detector inside this model of a gem, and now we're going to make a script, a server script inside a server script service, and we're going to be calling this gem collector. Now, the first thing we're going to do, as usual, is get the model of the gem. So local gem is going to equal to workspace.gem. Now there is going to be multiple gems. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a folder inside workspace, and we're going to call it gems. And then we're going to have a gem, and we can have multiple, but we'll only do one for now. So we're going to correct this. We're going to say local gems is going to equal to workspace.gems. Go and get children. And now we're going to loop through all the gems in the folder. So for underscore gem in gems do. So the reason why we put an underscore in the for I v in pairs loop is because we're not gonna use the I. The I is the index, the iteration. We're not gonna use that ever in this loop because it doesn't matter. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to get the click detector. So local gem, or we're just gonna call it click detector, is going to equal to gem colon find first child click, or actually find first child of class click detector. If click detector, then we're going to want to check if there is a click detector, and then we're going to say click detector dot clicked dot mouse click colon connect function. So when the player clicks on it, we're going to check the player who clicked on it. Now, one thing we can do is we can have all the gems be client-sided, or sorry, the gems on the server, but when a player clicks on the gem, it'll only disappear for them, not for other players. But in this case, we're gonna have it be for everyone. So whoever gets it first gets the gem. We're gonna check, and then now we've connected to the click function, right? What we're gonna do is we're going to destroy the gem model because we don't want it to stay. And then we're going to add one gem to the player's gems value. So local player gems is going to equal to player colon wait for child and then gems, because we need to wait because we're creating the gems value in like when the player joins. We have to wait for when the gems value is created. Now technically this is going to run after the player's been created, but just in case there is some kind of issue that happens, what we're going to do now is we're going to say player gems dot value plus equals 1. Also, we're just gonna put an if statement here. If player gems, then, right? We're just gonna put that right here, and then we're gonna delete the gem model. So gem colon destroy, and it's pretty simple, right? Like just like that. So as you can see, we can click this, right? And then I click it. Now nothing's happening. That's right. It's in the leader stats folder. Leader stats, colon wait for child gems. There we go. That's why. So now if I click it, it'll give us one gem. So yeah, that's the first part of it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna tween the coin to the player. And on top of that, we're gonna add a sound effect. So I will go get a sound effect for the gem real quickly. Okay, so here I have the sound effect I would like to use. We're going to copy its asset ID. So here's what we're gonna do. It's kind of an interesting process. To save resources, we're not gonna put the gem sound effect in every single gem. We're actually going to save it as its thing. So local gem pickup is going to equal to this, right? The asset ID. And then we're going to just delete this, right? We don't want to clone the gem a ton of times and have the sound effects be in every single one of them. We're only going to want to have them be in the ones that are clicked. So when it's clicked, right, we're going to clone this gem pickup and put it inside of the gem. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say local sound is going to be instance.new sound.parent will be the gem, sound.name is going to be pickup, and then sound ID is going to equal gem pickup, and then sound:play. Now the thing is, we don't have to parent this sound to the gem. It's just that if we do parent it to the gem, the sound will emit from the gem. If we don't, it'll just play like in its own dimension, so it won't be influenced by anything. And then that's it. So now, if I were to click on the gem, it'll play the sound. It did not play the sound. So we're just gonna have a little wait here. So sound.ended: wait. And then, so we're deleting it too quickly, that's why. So maybe we'll just give like a task.wait1 here, maybe? Cause, okay, yeah. So maybe like the exact amount, so like we'll do like maybe 1.8 or something before the gem's destroyed. So that way at least the sound can play before the gem's destroyed. So let's just put like a regular task.wait. Yeah, that's not good enough. Maybe like sound.timeline. Well, let's see if that works. That didn't work. Okay, so we're just going to say sound.ended: once. So what once does is it'll only connect a function once. Like that's why it's called once, rather than just regular connect that'll do it multiple times. We only want it to connect once. So we'll do that. And now when we click, then it has that small delay. So one thing we could do is just not parent it, in which then it would play like in its own dimension. It doesn't even play at all. So we'll just put it in like the workspace then. Yeah, so that'll play from our ears rather than from the actual gem itself. So we'll delete this part here. So that's the sound effect part done. The next thing we could do, or not could, but what we have to do is we're gonna tween the gem to the player when they pick it up. And to do that, we're simply just going to get the tween service. So local tween service is going to equal to game.tween service. And then local tween info is going to be tween info, not new. The time. So for this time value, we're probably going to have to put the tween info inside of this thing because we want it to actually no, we'll have it be 2 seconds. It doesn't matter. enum.using style, and we're gonna do quart. I'll give that a try. enum.using direction.in, not in out, in 0, repeat counts, false, and no delay time. So what we're going to do here is we're going to play this tween where we move the position of the gem to the player's human part. In this case, we're going to use pivot too. So what we're going to do is now we're going to create the tween right here. Actually, we'll do this. We're going to do this after. So we'll play the sound and then we're not going to run the gem.destroy until all of the previous things have finished. So local tween is going to be equal to tween service : create, and then our instance will be the gem. Tween info will be the tween info, and then our property table, in this case what we're going to change, is we're going to say the C frame is going to equal to player dot character dot primary part colon get pivot. And this is simply going to tween the C frame of the gem to the player. It's as simple as that. And then we're going to say tween, not tween info, tween colon play. Now, a lot of people like to just put this colon play at the end right here, because that's also something you could do, like have it be in one line. But just because this is like the first like week of the scripting challenge, I want to keep things a little more simple, and we're gonna have tween colon play on a different line. And then now tween dot, okay, let me give it some context here. So tween dot completed colon connect function, and this can be a once too. Then we're going to destroy the gem. So let's now test it out. No property name C frame. Okay, we're going to we're going to do a primary part here. Gem dot primary part, and the gem now moves to us. So the thing is though, if the player moves with, we're gonna turn can collide off actually. Can collide off. So if the player moves, so let's say I click the gem, right? And then I move out of the way, it's just gonna go to where I was before. So a method that we could do is we can constantly tween the gem to the player's humanoid root part until it's reached, until it completes. So we can check if the player moves, then we're gonna play a new tween, right? So we're gonna play the tween, right? And then if player.character. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap this into a loop. So to do that, we're gonna run service. And what run service is it allows us to do loops, like heartbeat loops, and they're loops that run every frame. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna connect run service.heartbeat to a connection. So we're gonna say, first off, we're gonna create the connection. So local connection, and then we're gonna set connection is going to equal to run service dot heartbeat colon connect function. Now you can also replace connect with once, which is what these connections do, and I'll put a documentation for things like this in the description in case you're interested on colon once and connection equals, because it's a pretty important tool. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna check if the player exists. So if player.character or not player and player.character.primary part, and then the gem part for safety, then we're gonna run this code. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the distance, right, between the gem and the player, which is just a magnitude check, which was in the katana video. So local distance is going to equal to the gem dot primary. First off, we're gonna give this some context here. This is a model. Gem primary part dot position minus the player dot character dot primary part dot position, and in this case we're going to add the dot magnitude on this line, not on a different line, right? We're gonna check here if distance is less than, say, 2.5 as our distance here. This is the hit radius. Then we're going to disconnect the function, so this loop won't continue running anymore, and then we're going to destroy the gem. And in each loop, we're going to in this connection loop, we're going to run this tween, right? So we can take this and we can move you here, and that's it. So actually we'll just say local tween, and then we're just going to check if tween. For now, we're just gonna set tween is equal to nil. So if the tween is not equal to nil, then we'll know that this has ran, and it's gonna keep adjusting until it reaches the player. So let's give this a try now. So I see. I made a pretty big mistake here. This is gonna continuously try to tween. It's not gonna wait. There we go. We're gonna move that in there. It's still not gonna work. So we only we're gonna want the duration of this tween to probably be like 0.1 or something, so it'll be able to update quickly. So there we go. It's gonna very slowly make its way to the player, as you can see. And the issue was that the tween was too long, so it wasn't gonna like fire like fast enough in the loop. So as you can see, it's slowly making its way over to me, and if I like move around in a circle, it's going to follow me. Then if I walk into it, it'll collect the gem and then it'll disappear. So let me like clean up the code a little bit. Do not turn the insert on. Clean up the code a little bit. Also, I think I am sick. I'm having some symptoms. So I'll try to keep the uploads kind of consistent, but I think I definitely am sick. So if we want to make this go faster, we can just cut this into an even faster tween. So then it'll like fly towards the player, but you know, it doesn't have to be that fast. So, you know, it'll fly towards the player, but you know, it can be 0.025 if you want it to be fast. So the lower the speed, the faster the gem will make its way towards the player. And then I can now collect the gem. So that's basically what the day 4 was. It is the collectible like currency system with a tweened pickup and a sound effect. So now for the review, there's a lot of improvements that you can make to this. I intentionally left out some details with the click detector system, and I'm hoping that if anyone decides to use this code in any sort of system that they're going to use it for, like maybe if you're making one of those like simulator games where you like break a pile of coins and then they spill out everywhere and then they fly at you. This can be used in that way, but it can definitely be optimized. This, like having a run service loop constantly adjusting a tween to move to the player's position, that can be bad. So you could have this only run, have this part only run where it creates a new tween, make that only run if the player's position changes, which is pretty easy to do, but I will leave this out as a challenge for anyone who wants to give it a try. So that is all for today's video. I won't put this in a paste bin for day 4. This is a pretty simple script that I'm sure that some people can just copy off of the video, but I do hope you people do make some changes to this script. And overall, I'm pretty satisfied with how this looks. In fact, we could test it one more time and click on it, and then now it'll just fly towards the player. And you know, if you wanted to, you could make it randomly generate a bunch of gems everywhere, and if you want, you could do that, but I only have one, so it's pretty cool. And then the gem goes to your inventory. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you use this system in whatever project you might be working on, or if it helped teach you something about having a gem fly towards your character.